Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Christina Mendez, where I teach you how to align, design the marketing and life of your dreams. And today we're going to be talking about how do you actually become a full-time entrepreneur? How do you go from taking your business idea, something that you're doing on the side, to what you're doing full-time and quit your job? This is not going to be a fluffy, like, oh my God, here's how I did a video. This is going to be the real shit. And in my opinion, from how I became a full-time entrepreneur, the most sensible, smartest way to actually be able to leave your job. So if you're ready to leave your job and become a full-time entrepreneur, keep watching. Let's start. Okay, so let's just jump into it. So number one is that you need to decide what it is that you want to do. And so one thing that I want to talk about that I don't think that we talk about when we're talking about starting a business to leave our job is that the best businesses that will help you leave your job quicker are going to be businesses that are called recession proof. So these are needs-based businesses. It is going to be so much easier for you to start a business that if you're a graphic designer, you're a web designer, you're a virtual assistant, you provide some type of service that people need, car washing, anything that somebody needs, you're going to have such a bigger success and easier time leaving your job and becoming a full-time entrepreneur in a needs-based business than you are in an innovation-based business. And what I mean by innovation or passion-based business are like clothing lines, cosmetic lines, anything in beauty, things like that, because those things aren't needed. Those are wants. This is not to say you cannot leave your job if you have a passion-based business. I'm just giving you a full spectrum of things to think about. I have seen people leave their jobs and started cosmetic companies, hair companies, and all of those things. But I'm giving you the full scope of how this really looks that I feel like we don't talk about. So I think you have more of a likelihood of leaving your job if you start a needs-based business versus a passion-based business, although it can be done. But nonetheless, you need to know what it is that you want to do. What do you want to do? And you need to figure all of that out now. And when I mean, what do you want to do? I mean, you cannot, when you're trying to leave your steady income, you truly have to be dedicated to what it is that you want to do. And you have to be in it for the long haul. Don't jump out into full-time entrepreneurship on an idea, on something you're just trying out. That's not what you should do. But if you are certain that this is what you want to do, and that you're in it for the long haul, I mean 5 to 10 years, then boom, that is the first step. After that, now that you know what you want to do, now it's time to get all of the business in order. Okay? When I mean get all of the business in order, file the LLC. There is a video that I'll link for your LLC. Figure out what your branding is going to be like. Getting a brand suite, not just a logo. We'll talk about that in another video. Getting a website. Every business needs a website. I don't care if you are a restaurant, you need a website. Getting social media. Get all of the things that you need for the business after you decide what it is that you want to do, so that you're just not jumping out with nothing. You're jumping out with a firm foundation. Make sense? Okay, so I also want to talk about what it means when I say get all those things, and just giving you some tips for the things that you need, like your logos, your website, shit like that, right? So for your logos, again, you have a job, so you're saving money to purchase these things before we even jump off the ledge and quit the job and we're a full-time entrepreneur, right? Don't hire a graphic designer, hire a brand designer, or a graphic designer has the capability to give you a brand suite. And what a brand suite is just, it's a full portfolio of digital assets. So you need more than one logo. So all the different variations of your logo, all different type of digital collaterals, like your Facebook banners, your YouTube banners, all those different things, right? You want a suite. You want them to give you color palettes, imagery, just an entire brand suite. And I'm going to do another video going over what a brand suite is. But you want a full breadth of work to put out as your brand. Because the more cohesive you come out, the more thorough your brand looks, the more together and cohesive everything is, again, the quicker and the likelihood of you being able to retain paid clients. And this does not mean that if everything matches, you're going to make money, because that's a common misconception too. You just want it to be cohesive, it to be full, it to make sense, and it to be thorough. So that's number one. Number two, you need a really good website. If you want to invest the money while you're still working to pay for a web designer, I'm all for that. If you don't have the money though, I don't want you to think that, you since you don't have the money, start a business without a website or start with a shitty website, because that's not going to work either. So there's a company that I love called Go Live HQ. And they are for pretty much service-based businesses. They use Squarespace, which is my recommendation for websites. And they do templates. They'll give you these fire-ass templates that are $2.99 that you can literally buy and then just edit. And your websites can be extremely strong with their templates. If you are a service-based business, if you're a Shopify-based business, again, going to the Shopify theme store and buying a really good template. Don't try to just wing it yourself if web design is not the business you're about to be creating. So starting with a brand suite, a really good website, Squarespace, I recommend Go Live HQ, buying a really good Shopify theme. Do not start your business and use Debut, which is one of the ones that comes with the free one. Like, invest in a good starting out website. Also, good product shots. If you are a product-based business, I recommend using Suna. I have a video for that. I have so many videos for y'all. Suna, where you can pay for product images or getting with a photographer and having them do product images. The beauty of you still having your job right now is you can get all this shit right. This is the stuff that once I jumped off the porch, I'm like, I should have thought this shit through. So I'm telling you guys this stuff now so that you guys can have so much of these hurdles already out the way and you don't have to think about. And then another thing is, again, the LLC. I have an LLC video. You guys know that. Also, how are you going to manage your money? Are you going to manage your money, or is someone else going to manage your money? When I mean that is the most serious part of all of this shit, because taxes are nothing to play with. So are you going to be your own bookkeeper or not? If you're going to be your own bookkeeper, getting QuickBooks, or there's another one, I think it's called Fresh Start. I forget what the other one was. I'll link it. QuickBooks, or are you going to hire somebody to track all your transactions? If not, I also recommend this thing called Bench, and Bench will do all of your accounting for you. It is pricey, but you've got a job. So now that you're seeing how much all this stuff is going to cost, the operating costs that I'm telling you that you need will help you, again, be able to price better, which again is going to help you turn this thing around and be able to leave. It's only when you don't know this shit and you don't have a plan for this shit, it's really, really hard to pivot and become a full-time entrepreneur, because you're not really dealing with a full scope of what you're dealing with. So just making sure you have everything you need, your paperwork together, your business plan. Like, your business plan, you have to have a business plan. That's what I mean when I say have everything together. After you figure out what you need to do, have everything together. A good brand suite, a good website, social media accounts, your LLC obviously filed. How are you going to manage your money? Who is going to manage your money? And then a business plan. You need all of that shit. You need all of that shit. It is a non-negotiable. You need all of that shit. I also recommend you checking out my entrepreneurship book recommendation video, because I truly recommend you reading those books before you jump off the porch. I truly do. It's going to get you together. You're going to start off with such a strong foundation if you do the things that I just said, plus the books and the self-assessment video. All of that really, I'm telling you, it really plays a part in jumping off the porch and becoming a full-time entrepreneur, because you really need to make sure the best entrepreneurs that can do this full-time have a good understanding of like what they're getting themselves into. What does this look like? And it's hard because most of us, we just jump off and figure it out as we go. I don't want y'all to have to do that. I want you guys to have a seamless transition as much as possible. Okay. All right. So now we're going to talk about a key point and why you're leaving. You're leaving to make money, right? So after you got a solid foundation, you're testing it out. I need you to figure your money shit out. What I mean by that is you need to write down on a piece of paper, how much does it cost for me to live? You need to know your bare minimum number. Rent, utilities, Wi-Fi, cell phone bill, how much your kids' shit costs, soccer, football, cheer, all of that. You need to figure that number out. To say, every month, I have to make this number. Then get another number. If things are going well and I am living a life I want to live, like, I need to know that number too. I live a very, very, very lean life. So when I started my business, I only needed $2,200 a month. My rent wasn't that much. My bills wasn't that much. Everything was low. So I knew I have to at least bring in $2,200 a month to cover the bare necessities. Now, that's not the extra shit. That's just the bare necessities. So that's why I want you to do bare necessities. So you know, like your bare minimum number and then like your regular number. And then your regular number is like the bare necessities plus getting your hair done, getting your nails done, your hair cut, going out with your friends. You want to know those two numbers so you can know where you're at. Like, all right, cool. As you're building this business, all right, I'm cool for the rent. I ain't got to stress. Or, oh, I don't even have my bare minimum number. You need to make sure you always hit that bare minimum number. And then again, you're going to be testing this theory out while you're still working. So then you're going to be able to see, all right, so I got my bare minimum number. That's my life. But the business cost me this much, right, to operate. So putting those numbers together and realizing how much money you need to bring in. Do that before you leave. Figure out your dollar amount before you leave. Know how much your business takes to run, which is your operating expenses outside of that shit. And know how much your personal life needs to stay afloat. Figure those numbers out, and while you're testing the theory out, be shooting for these numbers. Then you have a sound decision to be like, I've been consistently making my minimum number for 3 months. Then I hit my regular number, which includes my extracurriculars. I've hit that for 3 months. Now you have reason to be like, okay, here's enough data to show that I can really do this. Do not just jump off the bridge and be like, I'm going to figure it out. Bro, don't do that. Especially not with kids. I do not recommend that. I did that and it was some bullshit. So that's what I need you to know. I need you to figure out your bare minimum number, your regular number, and then you need to be trying to hit those numbers while still working. It's really hard, but I'm telling you, if you do this, jumping into full-time entrepreneurship will not be as stressful. It's going to be stressful regardless, because being entrepreneurship is the craziest thing that any of us can ever do, but it will be easier because you're not struggling and you're not in survival mode. Make sense? All right. And I realize I say make sense a lot, but it's only because I talk really, really fast and I just be making sure, like, I be having so much I want to tell y'all. I just be wanting to make sure, like, I'm articulating myself and I'm slowing down. Like, you'll see me stop because I'm trying to slow down and talk where it makes sense, because I be having so much stuff to say. So that's the only reason why I say makes sense, not because the shit I'm saying is complicated. Just, I be wanting to make sure y'all actually can understand what I'm saying. So after you strong foundation, you tested it out, you figured the money shit out, you got good things to run the business, and all of that is being done. Leave your job on good terms. You always want to have a plan B. Do not be like, yeah, I'm making my minimum number and I made my regular number. Fuck this job. Do not do that. Do not do that. Leave your job on good terms. Even tell them, like, hey, I've enjoyed my time here, but I'm actually leaving to pursue my own endeavors, and leave on good terms. Give your 2-week notice in. Also, during that time, update your LinkedIn to where you are when you leave your job. Update your resume to where you are when you leave your job, so that because once you leave and you get so far away from that job shit, you won't really remember, like, what you did when you were there. Your job experience may come back and add to your entrepreneurial journey. You never know. So that's what I'm saying. Get all this stuff together. Update your resume so it's done. It's congruent for where you stopped on your journey. update your LinkedIn, put that out there, leave on good terms so that you can have it, because you never know, your client, the job that you're leaving can go back and become a client, right? But if you leave on bad terms, you can't do that. That was what happened to me. I ain't leave none of my jobs on good terms. Okay, because I should always be an entrepreneur. But that's what ended up happening, is some of my old jobs was like, hey, have you calmed down? Because we'd like to use you for marketing. And they said that because I didn't leave on good terms. And I'm like, that is so embarrassing. Like, why do I have to be so crazy sometimes? So leave your job on good terms, because you never know, that client can become a client, and you don't want to burn bridges. Don't get arrogant because you're starting a business and say fuck it. You never know what is going to happen in life, and you always, especially when you have children, you always want to put yourself in the best position possible at every single angle. So make sure you're just doing everything that you need to do to leave and exit appropriately. And then lastly, it's still going to come back to this money thing, because the other harder part about entrepreneurship is the mental, and we'll talk about that. But when we're talking about leaving your full-time job, it really do come down to the money. So if you know your minimum number, and then you know your fund number, right? And you're hitting those numbers, bro, pay up your bills. Pay up your bills and save money. Pay up, if you're like, I'm leaving, pay up 3 months. That's a quarter. So that means you got a whole quarter, a whole fiscal quarter, because, entrepreneurial world, we think in quarters 1, quarter 2, quarter 3, right? Pay up a quarter worth of bills. That's the rent, the utilities, groceries, all of that shit. If you can pay up 3 months for a whole quarter, that means the quarter that you're leaving, the bills are paid, which means you have an entire 90 days to push the business further so that you're starting to get income. Save as much money as possible and pay your bills up at least a quarter so that you can fully start the day one of this new life without the stress of being in survival mode. If you do all of these things that I said in my video, you will be completely fine and well on your way to becoming a full-time entrepreneur and leaving your job in a way that is logical and makes sense. I wish you guys the best. If you have any questions about my journey, anything else you want to see in regards to this entrepreneurial life, please let me know. I'm always welcoming video recommendations because I want to make sure that I'm giving you guys exactly what you want. Please make sure you're subscribing, you're liking, and you're sharing my YouTube channel with someone else that can use this information. All right, I'll see you in the next video.